We are talking about the movie Batman Begins. Have you seen this movie? Well, if you're watching this right now, you probably have. This movie stars Christian Bale, and it was directed by Christopher Nolan. This movie came out in 2005, and this kicked off the Dark Knight trilogy of 3 films. Now, this movie, while not perfect by any means, probably not even the best of the Dark Knight trilogy, still, it's a pretty good starter, I'd say. So it starts off with our Dark Knight in this prison camp, right? And then, Ra's al Ghul, a.k.a. Qui-Gon Jinn, comes in and is like, hey, do you want to join the League of Shadows? He's like, sure. And that's how he got his Batman training. Oh, but then the League of Shadows, they get taken down and their whole thing blows up. So then Batman leaves to become the Batman in Gotham. So then we cut to years later, okay? We get a flashback of him as a child. This flashback is of him as a child. He's afraid of bats, right? So then they go out. He's like, uh-oh. And then his parents get killed. The story we've seen in every Batman movie. Okay. So now that we've gotten the background information, let's talk about some aspects of the film. First of all, the Scarecrow in this movie is pretty good. I feel like he's underused, especially in the third act. I'd say he's even criminally underused. Anyways, the person playing him would later be playing Oppenheimer in this year, or whatever year you're watching this. Anyways, he played a pretty good character. He uses a fear toxin. I would have rather had him be the villain than Ra's al Ghul, but hey, what can I say? It's a whatever. I'm just glad he was in this movie. I feel like this is the best adaptation of the Scarecrow. This is my adaptation of the Scarecrow, the one I've known ever since I was a baby. And yeah. So anyways, this fear toxin, there's something up with this fear toxin, my guy, because what happened is this fear toxin is being used to poison Gotham City, which drives the city into chaos. When the city is driven into chaos, Ra's al Ghul comes back and is like, hey, I'm Ra's al Ghul, Batman, remember me? And he's like, yeah, sure, okay. And then after that, his mansion burns down, and Gotham's going crazy. Scarecrow gets released from Arkham. He's riding on a horse. He's crazy. And then he quotes one of the presidents, and he says, nothing in fear but fear itself, and he's like crazy, but then he gets tased in the face in this really funny sequence. So yeah, and it's really interesting. But something that really one big problem with this movie is the CGI. Christopher Nolan usually doesn't have a problem with CGI whatsoever, especially now, but he did here. A lot of the explosions, action sequences, it felt like CGI. It didn't feel real whatsoever. It really took me out of some scenes. But some scenes I was like, I don't mind this. It's a Batman movie. It's 2005, whatever. And really you can't blame them because of the time in 2005. A lot of CGI was being used then. Just like the prequels were really taking it in. But yeah, so that's basically my review. It introduced a lot of new actors, a lot of new characters, for a lot